the thing on? Hey, world of YouTube Live, what's happening? This is Archie here with another video, and like I said, I wanted to start a new series of videos of tributes, whether it be TV shows, musicians, musicians, all technical difficulties. Goddamn fucking phone. Musicians or whatever it may be. Actors, actresses, whatever. Pay tribute. Today I'd like to go over the mighty Judas Priest. And the first time I ever heard the band. And what that band did for me throughout years. Like a lot of other bands. Just like AC/DC. I'd like to mention and start off. Judas Priest was once too in the courts for, stupid people's actions. You know, I got every Judas Priest album on cassette. I mean, I intend to build my collection back up, of course, with shitty CDs, because they suck, scratch, break, and melt, and every goddamn thing else, but anyways, it sucks that they were tainted and tarnished due to the fact that two young teenagers was listening to the Stained Class album, Better By You, Better Than Me, which I've listened to that fucking song I don't know how many times. I'll tell you right now, I had that tape and I wore it out. Literally. And for the simple fact that I didn't kill myself. You know what? Actions don't come from fucking music. People's actions come from themselves and in their mind and in the sick, twisted world they're made in, brought up in, whatever the case may be. Yes, I will admit, I was in my teenage years and I fell upon myself in a part of my life the way I wanted to kill myself. But if it wasn't for music, I wouldn't be here right now. And if it wasn't for these bands like Judas Priest, Ozzy Osbourne, Rat, and I mean the list goes on, Slayer, every goddamn band I can mention would take up this whole video. But them are just a handful. Iron Maiden. I can go on. I can go on. But these bands were like not only an inflation. Fuck. I don't use that word a lot. Bear with me. Influence. Not only were these bands big influences in my life. Inflation. Yeah. But influence, I mean, they also, literally, this is what I like to, I want to say something real quick before I go on to what Judas Priest did for me in my life, but this is what new music of today makes me sick, disgusts me. Some bands are doing well. Believe me, there's bands out there that should be on the radio that ain't, all right? And I'm telling you, man, listening to their songs and stuff, and then you go to the radio and listen to this shit. Like, I'll make a perfect example of a band I heard on WAAF, one of the biggest rock stations in Boston, and been on for many, many years. And they're cranking up, I eat peaches. Peaches grow from trees. And it's like, who writes this shit? A song to me is to tell stories, tales, everything in their power, and this is what old music did. It always had a story, always had something behind it, and it was literally, from these bands' lives that they took in to put in their music. Music is not made to make you commit suicide, commit murder, and for these people to use these songs the wrong way. These songs were made to talk and speak of the world around them and what happened into their lives and where they've been and who they've been and how they've lived and what they see like we see and I see, of course, all this chaos and destruction and bullshit and war. And it's pretty, you know, if you had a straight mind, obviously it's common sense. But for these two teenagers to get back to this, and that's what I got to say about new music these days, your music don't make no sense. You're half-ass backwards. I cannot remember the fucking band that said it, and I should have remembered it when they said it, and I should have wrote it down because I knew I was going to forget, but there was a band out there that said, we do it, oh, yeah, for the women and the money, and da-da-da-da, and then they made a big live platinum album, and then they left. That was it. Oh, Wolf Mother, perfect example, too. They were doing it to get all the girls and the chicks, but due to their music and the style they made, they got all the guys. And that's what they weren't in it for. Excuse me, they wanted all the women. But I can tell you right now that, the music they made was definitely not women material. And then they gave up. Where are they now? Wolf Mother. Look them up. See where they've been. See what they're doing. They're probably still bitter and holding their pissed off ass to be, oh, we don't got no women on our shows. But anyways, back to the real metal gods and back to the ones who created lots of heavy metal and inspired me too to be like, fucking make another album. But to go back to the suicide thing where these two kids were listening to the song Better By You, Better Than Me. I hope I'm saying that right. I've listened to it a million times, but yeah, they went off and killed. But then again, you gotta think. Here they are on hallucinating drugs. Here they are listening to lyrics. And I don't understand what the fuck. I listened to that song word for word to have any indications of what to commit suicide. What the fuck? Nothing. Nothing at all. I don't know what they came up with in their minds to go shoot themselves, but that song ain't even like, not to bust on Judas Priest's balls, but it ain't heavy. It's just like a hard rockin', eased back driving mellow song. And to me, yeah, it's like a breakup love song. Maybe that's what they thought. I don't know. Something sounds like one of them friggin' women, bitter relationship song to make it make any sense, but it is insane. It's insane what people do with music, like the fucking Night Stalker with AC/DC, like the video I did of Night Prowler, and it's just sick, sad individuals too. Gotta tarnish music. But anyways, it was 1982. My mother and father had just split up. Mother's talking about, I gotta bring him on vacation. I'm going to New York, alright. My father had a bitter custody battle with my mother and got full custody of me and my other brother. And, off we are to New York for summer vacation. Not in a year and a half later, I came back. But, and due to this little trip, mind you, even though I felt completely at home in that state, Corning, New York, that town, which you come to find out, a lot of family heritage in that town. And if you look up Painted Post, explains why I felt very at home for myself and comfortable. But that being said, I went through a lot of shit out there. I mean, my mother rolled up into a person that I literally found out maybe 2-3 months ago that she was into the heavy stuff with this guy way back in the day before she even met my father. So there was a lot of history behind all this and why she ran there, to make a long story short. But when I got there, oh my God, it was fucking nasty. Kids didn't take kindly into me due to the simple fact that the guy was, with my mother, and he would do anything for the world for my mother. He'd sit there drunk off his ass. Oh, your mother this and I'll do that. Da, da, da. And, it got to the point where it was like, well, what the well, I never knew what the hell the history was, like I said, so it was some kind of crazy shit back in the day that went down. But one of the kids there that he had, and his name was Chris, he literally took a liking to me, and he was kind of a comfort zone guy there for me. He was older, but all the other kids, I mean, they teased me, picked on me. I came into the friggin' bully age. People were fucking constantly telling me what to do, and I was 8 years old at the time, so it was like, who the fuck are you people? You know, you're not my father, you're not my brother. You know, I mean, we had a lot of fucking bad battles out there. But this guy, Chris, though, he was cool and everything. I mean, he kept everything mellow and kept everything, you know, just, how would you say, just, hold on a second. Get to your mother. But, wait a minute. Interruption. Sorry, be right back. No, I am back. Oh, shit, wait a minute. Hang on up. Yeah, got it. Anyways, what was I saying? So, yeah, he was like the combiner here. He would keep everybody in control. And he was like the middle son of the family, but he had a lot of control on people. And when they act up and started getting in someone's face and this and that, and Pug over here bugging me. Wait a minute, Puggy, wait a minute. I gotta tell him to wait a minute. Goddamn dog. He'll be alright. But, anyway, this guy, like I said, would keep everything peaceful, as you would say, to make a long story short. And one day I was at school there, and yeah, go figure, you know, I go on vacation, and then I'm enrolled in the friggin' school out there. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I didn't know. I was like two heads swinging around the fucking wind saying, Jesus Christ. Unbelievable. Just, you know, one of them, yeah, what the fuck moments. But you're a kid, it's even worse. So I'm trying to adapt and get into everything. And I didn't have my comfort zone out there, I can tell you that. I mean, I felt like home. I liked it out there, but to be torn apart in the family quarrel and everything and the separation, and both my mother and father went and had, you know, partners, put so that way. But then I was at school, like I said, and I had to get picked up because I was getting driven across town. But at first, my mother was living in this house where she used to live. I don't know how she got it. Oh, yeah, I think I was living with my uncle or something. But we over here, we were heading out across town because he was going to go over to that guy's house I was talking about, my mother was seeing. And when you know, my man Chris was driving at the time. Yeah, he must have been 16 at the time, had his license and everything, 17 at the time. Like I said, I was 8. And what does he come up bombing up in? A convertible with the fucking song, Breaking the Law, Judas Priest. When I heard that song from a distance, mind you, because he had the damn back speakers on the back roof, you know, on the back well of near the roof and everything. Breaking the law, breaking. I was like, what the? Whoa! I was like, damn. No, I've been listening to music, all kinds, and when I heard the first Black Sabbath album, self-titled Black Sabbath, of course. Oh, man, I was hooked, and that was at the age of 5. I heard that blaring up in my brother's room, and it was like, whoa, my head just went up to the ceiling, and it was like, you know, wah, wah, wah. I was like, damn, what is that shit? And I mean, I had various albums I used to go dig up in my brother's room, and go figure, I'd go scratch the record and fucking get my ass beat, but hey, it was all good. It was worth it listening to the good fucking music. I'd be there all night. Wouldn't even go to bed in the middle of the night. Wouldn't even get up for school and been listening to that shit. But Judas Priest, when I first heard it, I was like, damn. And in 1983, the movie Forced Vengeance came out with Chuck Norris. So you had Screaming for Vengeance and Forced Vengeance, and both were badass combined. And it was like, in my mind, I was putting this album and that movie together. I'm like, oh, yeah. So, I mean, it was a combination of fucking, yeah. And every time someone would start with me up there, I mean, yeah, because these people would drink. You got the older people up there drinking, and when my man Chris wasn't there, oh man, the people were always, I don't know if they were intimidated by me or what, but they'd always be coming out of the woodwork. Oh, fucking punk. And blah, blah, blah. I was like, what? I ain't even doing nothing. It came to the point I got so pissed off, I got sick of it. Calling me names, calling me this. I was like, fuck you. So I got to the point where, man, and I remember one night, there was a family friend of these people visiting. And he's, I don't know, he must have had a bad day, so he had a bad drunk. And literally, man, he was saying some shit, and I'm like, oh, I'm done with this shit. I went in my room, I got my little radio out. And at the time, I had Screaming for, I told my mother, you buy me this fucking tape, and it was Screaming for Vengeance. And I don't know, just listening to British Steel, Screaming for Vengeance, and then, then Defenders of the Faith came out in 84. Whoa! But I grabbed my fucking goddamn Screaming tape, put it in, fast forward it, right? Gets it up the Devil's Child. I don't know, I was in the mood of the moment. For some reason, my fucking brain clicked and said, put this song on. I'm like, puh. As soon as that guitar riff started, I started banging my head, and I'm like, I was getting mad. And I just kept thinking what this fucking asshole kept saying about me. And I was like, then I just turned the radio up. And when you know the fucking asshole comes in the room, tells me to turn it down, I'm like, fuck you. So, I mean, I just let out a big, huge war cry, as you would call it. But, I mean, that was my life, starting off with that album and shit. And that song, Breaking the Law, and, just from there on, I felt like, this music makes you feel good. Music is tell you tales and stuff. And I'll tell you something right now, a lot of music, man, like Diary of a Madman, them lyrics, and you can't kill rock and roll, man. I mean, these were telling me the story about life, and I would take it that way. So, I mean, between the TV shows that had morals to the records that had, life and pain, but I'll fight through, and you can't kill this rock and roll, and you can't, I stuck that in my head, put it in my head like a dictionary. Even Judas Priest, whenever I'd pick an individual song, I'd be, that's me. So, it inspired me to, move along, whether it be good or bad in life. So I had to march forward in a lot of stuff bullshit, especially that time of my life of a year and a half, literally dealing with drunk people. Of course, when I ended up becoming myself a drunk of 17 fucking stupid years. But don't get me wrong, I had some good times drinking, but most of it was dumb and stupid, and I don't even want to even get into it. But music has kept me alive, and for people that say the music is the devil's fucking work is bullshit. Because they don't understand the lyrics, they don't know the lyrics, they don't know the music behind it, or the people behind it. They need to keep their mouth, shut, and let the artist make their fucking platinum albums. But like I say, today's music, is Gene Simmons kind of right? Rock is dead? Well, don't get me wrong, there's some new bands out there keeping it real, but they ain't on the radio yet. You can find them on like Facebook or YouTube or this, or I even had a band that did on my MySpace page when I first opened it up in 2007. There was a band, oh man, I can't remember the fucking name, but they literally was on the Saw movie. Guy had a bald head with the fucking contacts that turned colors and shit, and I forget his name. But he was literally chit-chatting with me and stuff. But they had some damn good music. But that band, I know if I would hear them and stuff. Like I said, they were on the Saw album. But do you hear them on the radio now? No. And they had good shit. I was friggin' telling them and everything. Bravo, this is some, You know, you can't find bands like that these days. Sometimes, not all. I'm not accusing all bands, but I eat peaches. Peaches are from trees. That's the only one that I can think of right now, because that's the most fucking. That's more like a heavy metal kid band type thing. Go play it on a kid's radio show to make them eat if they like heavy hard rock. You know, I eat peaches, yeah. But as for Judas Priest, many years of albums, and then after that, I mean, I started collecting all of them, and every individual album though has a song like one to save the world, man, would be Last Rose of Summer. No, that's a good song to listen to for people to wake up and, you know, smell the fucking coffee, because this world is just twisted in ways. There's a song that, you know, when I'm down and out, you know, I want to get out of, you know, I don't want to bang my head no more. I just go listen to that song. Some mellow shit. It's my classical music, you could say, even though I do listen to classical too. I listen to all kinds of stuff from Beethoven to symphony orchestras, and it doesn't matter. If it sounds good and I can feel it, you know you got a special gift for music. But Judas Priest, man, they got so many good songs. And man, you can be on there all night with the songs they have out there. And I just got done listening to the Hellbent for Leather album. Raw Deal is another song I love. But they are a big inspiration in my life. Because I mean, to have this band since 1973, like Black Sabbath from 1969 till, you know, any band that just has been there forever. And every year and I mentioned Rat, even Rat, man, with Stephen Pearcy, man, they have some inspirational songs too, so. But anyways, let me get out of here. It's another wrapped up video on that, but a lot of songs, a lot of stuff. More to come in my tribute to Judas Priest. Salute. Great band. Until the next video, be safe, take care. We gotta get some more out there, more bands that inspired me through a lot of stuff. Anyways, until that next video, out.